Oh man. All right, yo. What's up, everybody? Episode 59. I was gonna try to say it in Spanish, but I don't remember my Spanish as well as I thought.
Wait, do you speak Spanish?
No, but I took embarrassingly 7 years, I think. I never
knew that. 59 59.
Yeah, there we go. I couldn't remember the number for 50 for some reason. If it was 49, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
No. Since we're keeping it multilingual.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? Oh no, I forgot more Spanish than I thought. But all right. My Lanta, we're already a minute in. Yeah, welcome. Honestly, it's been quite a year. 59 episodes is absolutely insane. How are you feeling? How are you feeling tonight, and how are you feeling about 59 episodes?
Honestly, I just got off a call that I feel hyper. I'm hyped. I'm a little hyper. I'm a little goofy. It's also our last episode, so I feel kind of celebratory.
Right.
Yeah. This will be a fun, lighthearted, happy episode, I imagine. But Sto, how are you feeling?
Good. It's it's really nice to actually have all these episodes up and not feel tired. I'm ready. I'm excited to keep going with it and stuff like that. Thank you to all of you for watching. We've said this a billion times, but I know I personally, I was like, yo, there's no way I'm actually doing YouTube. There's no way I'm doing it when we first started. And, now I've learned more about the platform, and I feel like we hit 500 subscribers this year in 2 years, which is it still is mind blowing to me. But seriously, thank you all for watching and sticking around with us and listening to us for these tons of minutes.
Honestly, I'm legit proud of us.
Yeah.
One, because those of you who know me, I fucking hate being on camera. So the fact that twice a month we get on YouTube and record and show my face and all the awkwardness, on a personal tip, the fact that I've gotten over that, I'm really proud of. But I also think we put out good shit. And every time someone's office hours taught me, or I hear what you and Sto say, or I went back and I saw this episode, that just means so much. And then for those of you who show up, and I Serial Sensei, who's so regularly supporting us, I am not picking on you at all. I don't know, I just feel a lot of love and pride in what we do and what we've built, and how we do it, because I know that there's other people who do this kind of music business advice, but I don't think we feel like them, and I hope that comes across.
Right. Exactly. No, I agree, and we it's what we set out to do when we put this channel together, and we're ready for another year of greatness. So as we enter the episode, it's really just going to be a lighthearted joint. We're not really trying to talk about anything crazy, but how are you feeling about this year overall?
I mean, it's a weird question, right? Because the world is going to shit. I feel every year the world goes more and more to shit, and I think there's so much more pieces of resistance and little bits. It's the rose that grew from concrete. So actually, Sto, what I wanted to ask you was what are you really proud of this year? Professionally, what are you really proud of this year? Yo, we're getting spammers. I always feel like we made it when there's spammers.
Right. Yeah, hopefully YouTube gets that
we
shit
made
fixed.
It. We got spam. Personally, what are you proud of? Professionally, what are you proud of? Creatively, what are you proud of this year?
Ask you first.
But that's not the question you asked me. You asked me how
I guess. All right. Yeah, no, I mean, for me personally, it's really this year's been kind of crazy. I can't even front on that, but it's been nice to kind of like, I guess, find myself again. I feel like I was so wrapped up in my work, and I still am for sure, but I was so tied to like a certain road to success, I guess, that I thought that I had obtained, or not necessarily had obtained, but I thought I was in an environment that was going to help me be more successful. And having to walk away from that was not easy, but it helped me to kind of understand, like, all right, like I can do this myself. And that has been really important for me. And then just, I mean, I'm still really working on it, but just learning to take care of myself a bit better, especially in these cold months now where it's very easy to, like, especially out here where it's always gloomy and cold and whatnot, just finding ways to be active and just like keep the progress that I made over the summer going in the winter. And then professionally, yeah, just doing this music stuff, marketing stuff, on more of a solo level, I guess, was kind of challenging and intimidating, but I did it, and I worked with some people that I never thought even really knew I existed, to be completely frank. And just seeing the artists that we've worked with, like both of us, that are like actually like level up and succeed and do the things that they wanted to do. Like that's really what this is all about. Like, yes, like, of course, got bills to pay. I'm trying to survive out here, but our job, I think we came into this to help people, and that's what we're doing. And I'm very proud of that we've been able to do that.
Yeah, you just made me think, like, I think it's so easy, at least for me. I forget sometimes, like, how much happens in a year. Like, we've done a lot. So for me, I think personally, one of the things I feel like I really indulged in myself this year. And I say that with, like, my indulgence is everyone else's, like, basic, but like I'm building up in levels of, like, showing up for myself and taking care of myself, like taking the extra step for myself. And that just feels good. One thing I started the year off with was deciding that I was no longer going to say no to myself. Like, I'll let other people say no, but I'm not going to censor myself in terms of, like, my ideas and my projects. And so that really showed up in Culture Fix. And I started a Discord in like February, March. We have like 120 people on the Discord. It's active. People are networking.
Super active. Yeah.
Like, it's like people are like doing their own shit without me. They feel ownership over it. Like, I fucking love that Discord, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of. But for me, it's also really clear how, like, me personally showing up for myself has allowed my business to do the things that I've wanted to do, and, like, professionally, not to mention, like, I'm just so proud of all my clients who are winning, and, like, people who have like quit their jobs. And I have one client who, like, I think we had 6 sessions with me, quit their job and is now consulting full time, like living off, like, just stuff like that I'm just so proud of. Another client who's been, like, clean and sober and is, like, really working the sobriety and how that impacts their creativity. I'm just, like, so proud of my clients. And I think for me, creatively, I've really been intentional about just creating more time for my creativity and leaning into collage and stickering and journaling as, like, creative art forms for me that no one ever needs to see. Although sometimes I, like, hold up my journal and I'm like, Sto, look at what I did. And he's like, yeah, okay. But, yeah, I just feel like this year, with all the chaos, the more I lean into myself and I lean into, like, my community and people who just get it, it's been good. It's been good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the same goes for all of you that are, watching this video. Like, let us know, whether you're in the chat or in the comments, how your 2022 went, and, what you're proud of this year. Cause it's so, I think we start talking about, like, next year just so quickly without taking just a second to really reflect on, what we've done in the year, and not just, and it's not just work stuff. It's very easy to be like, oh, how much money did I make? And, for if you're an artist, how many streams did I get, and all that jazz. And honestly, on that just slight side note, like, your value is not, as an artist, as a person, it's not wrapped up in those streaming numbers. Because I've already seen some people kind of like feel down because their streaming numbers weren't as high as they thought, and XYZ. Like, that's, the real people, that there are people listening to your music, and there are people that are engaging with you. Like, that's what we should be really proud of. The numbers, those are always going to be up and down, but the real people sticking around, that's really what's important. But yeah, take time to really reflect and look at what you've done this year. Like, it's been a long year. And I think when we slow down to like actually reflect on that, we really can see how much we've done. Like, yes, everything's not perfect and stuff like that, but a lot of us have been grinding super hard this year, and in multiple facets of our lives. So, you've got to give yourself some kind of props for that, because just heading right into the next year, trying to be like, all right, this is where I got to be, this is what I got to do. Like, it's okay to slow down for a second.
I saw something, we often talk about like end the year with a bang, and I'm like, no, I want to end the year slowly and gently and intentionally. And I think this is a good time to like reflect, see what worked for you, see what didn't work for you.
Right.
And really, like, don't even stress about, like, an artist is like who you are. Streams don't validate that in any way.
Right.
Serial Sensei says, in 2022, I took time to just sit down because at this time last year I was burned out. I'm taking time to gather my thoughts and figure out my next life. Yeah, like, I had a mentor tell me this once, where I was in a point where I didn't know if I was going to move back to Liberia, if I was going to continue to manage this artist. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do. And my mentor was like, stop. She's like, You'll never see the bottom of the lake if you're kicking up all the mud. And so you got to stop and let things settle. And I was like, no, because it feels so counterintuitive to not do anything when you have to do things. And
right.
She was like, no. She was like, just allow yourself that stillness and the clarity will come. And guaranteed, like, that's what happened for me. And ever since then, like, and this is why I think those of you who've like watched Office Hours or you've like followed my work, you hear me talk about how important rest is, how important it is to like stop, to sleep, to slow down, to take a break, to do things that have nothing to do with what you're working on. Because that's where rejuvenation comes, that's where inspiration comes. And so even like as we come towards the end of the year and everyone's like, okay, just got to grind that last piece. Shout out to Sandroid, who says, end the year with several naps. Like, that stuff is valuable. And so to give yourself time to like rest, unplug, take time off, all of this will be here a week from now, 2 weeks from now, whenever, So I think this is a theme in all of our Office Hours episodes, but take a break, take a nap, rest, slow down. Not just because that's stuff that we're saying, but because it also serves, and I hate to like convince you to rest because it's productive, but it is also productive at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Right. It absolutely is, and is super important. I guess as we kind of head towards the end of the year, what are just a couple things maybe that artists should be considering as we head into the new year, if anything? Specifically on the newsletter tip.
Send a newsletter, write a newsletter. This is a great time on the newsletter tip. This is a great time to do like a year recap. Send them back to whatever happened in January. Tell them the things you're most proud of so that they can be excited about it for you. Newsletter is great. Really just like, this is a great time to just connect with your fans. Send out some thank you cards to the fans who are like,
it's like raining super hard.
I was going to say, is that rain? I can hear it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Gateway Express says sometimes the work is the rest. Like rest is, yes, 100%. But yeah, that's, so if you said like 2 things that people could do, One would be send out the newsletter, like brag on yourself, celebrate, throw people back to the beginning, or like those real 3 or 4 things this year that you are like really shining at. And use that as an opportunity to connect with your with your fans, not your artists, to connect with your fans, but also with like your colleagues, right? Do people collaborate with you? Check in on them. Be like, yo, happy holidays. Hope you have a good new year. Like rooting for you, whatever it might be. This is a good time for like human touch, human connection. What would you think, so?
And that's all I was really gonna get at is like now's the perfect time to really connect with your audience. Because you know, every newsletter or whatever doesn't have to have a link or whatever in it to promote a product or something. Like now granted, on the side note, like it's a perfect time to send in them last second Christmas gifts. So just a slight tip there. But on the other end, but what Nora's saying is important. Like I feel like I've been trying to talk about this more these last couple months, is like there are humans on the other side of these newsletters and the other side of the links that you're sharing and stuff like that. So, talk to the human that's there. This time of year is always, it's kind of up and down for everybody, right? Like between family stuff and pressure to get ready for the new year and all this other stuff. Like your audience is probably feeling some of that pressure and some of that weight. So in some ways you can, one, kind of lead the discussion with that. But second, you can also, again, recap everything that you've accomplished this year. You've been gaining fans every single day probably, or at least every month or whatever, and they haven't seen everything that you've done up to this point. So give them a recap and fill them in.
Y'all, we're gonna keep this episode short and sweet and celebratory. If you've made it this far, don't forget to tell us in the comments what you're proud of this year, personally, professionally, and or creatively. And as always, if there's things you want to see episodes on next year, drop those in the comments as well. We want this to be responsive to what you all need.
Right.
Taking our own advice, Sto and I are going to take some time off through the rest of December and early January because we're practicing what we preach and we need rest. And then we're also going to take some time to have like a little office hours retreat and plan for what the next year is going to look like. So if there's things that y'all want to see from us, let us know. But that's it. Like, thank you for an amazing year. Thank you for all the likes and the comments and the subscribes. Take care of yourself.
I think we're on Twitter next week, though, Thursday.
Yeah, we are on Twitter on Thursday, and then that's the last thing we'll do for the year. But y'all, like, take care of yourself. Take care of each other, especially this time of year. Shout out to Serial Sensei, who says, I ended the year on a good note. I entered a pitch contest, and even though I didn't win, I got to the top 15%. So I'm okay with that's awesome. We want to hear those wins. We want to hear those celebrations. Like when I say we're rooting for you, like legit, Sto and I care about your success. Whatever that looks like. I'm rambling, so
we'll be back soon. Make sure you hit subscribe, share an episode or two. Honestly, it's a good little marathon. Honestly, you throw in a couple episodes, stuff like that. So yeah, we hope everyone enjoy the rest of your year. If we don't see you on Twitter, and we will be back soon with more office hours. Peace, everyone.
Bye.